This video isn't here to hype you up for a few minutes. It's here to give you a real plan to change your life in 21 days, step by step. No fluff, just action. You don't need a perfect schedule. You need to stop wasting time. You don't need more motivation. You need to stop breaking promises to yourself. If you give these 21 days everything you've got, you won't just feel different, you'll be different. And people won't believe how fast you changed. This is how you become unrecognizable. Chapter 1. Decide you're done being the same every day. You know, one of the hardest things to admit is that we've been living the same way for too long. Day after day, week after week, we keep repeating the same routines, the same thoughts, the same habits, and deep down we know something isn't right. We know there's more in us, but we keep putting off the change. We wait for some magic moment, some push, some perfect time. But here's the truth. The perfect time never comes. The change doesn't happen by accident. It happens the day you decide you're done being the same. That decision is where your new life begins. You don't need another motivation video. You don't need a new book, a new app, or a new quote. What you need is to look at yourself and say, enough. You have to feel it in your bones. You have to reach that point where staying the same becomes more painful than changing. That's when you stop tolerating your own excuses. That's when you stop settling for just making it through the day. And that's when you start building a life that looks nothing like the one you're living now. You don't become unrecognizable in 21 days by doing what you've always done. You become unrecognizable when you stop accepting average from yourself, when you stop saying tomorrow and start acting today, when you stop looking for outside motivation and start holding yourself to a new standard. It all begins with a decision. Not a feeling, not a hope, not a wish, a decision. And here's the key. You have to decide with full honesty. Ask yourself, am I proud of how I've been living? Am I proud of the way I spend my time? Am I proud of how I treat my body? Am I proud of how I show up in relationships? Am I proud of my discipline? If the answer is no, you don't need to feel ashamed, but you do need to decide right now that this is the end of that version of you. You see, every person hits a point where they get tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. I'm talking about the tired that comes from pretending to be okay with staying stuck, pretending to be comfortable with being average, pretending that someday is still good enough. But the moment you drop the act, the moment you face the truth, you find power, you find clarity, you find the courage to start. And starting doesn't mean changing everything overnight. It means you begin by choosing better today. You show up earlier. You finish what you said you would. You say no to what keeps you weak. You say yes to what forces you to grow. And the more you do this, the more you start feeling like a different person. Not just looking different, feeling different, thinking different, moving different. Excuse me? Staffing issues, I think they may dislodge you, though it is still different. Thinking is different. Moving different. Thinking is different. People around you won't even recognize you. Not because of how you dress or talk, but because your energy is different. Your decisions are sharper. Your focus is stronger. But none of that happens until you decide. It's not about waiting to feel ready. Most people never feel ready. If you wait to feel ready, you'll wait your whole life. You have to move when you're tired. You have to act when it's hard. You have to decide when it's uncomfortable. That's what creates change. And that's why most people never get there. They think they need to feel inspired to act. But real progress starts when you act even when you don't feel like it. Your current habits are designed to keep you exactly where you are, and that version of you is easy to recognize because it's the one everyone's already seen. But the next version, the unrecognizable one, that version comes from the day you say, "I'm not doing this anymore." No more late starts, no more skipping the hard work, no more blaming time, people, or problems, no more hiding. You make the decision, and then you back it up with discipline. You don't owe anyone else an explanation. You don't have to post about your goals. You don't have to talk about it. You just have to do it. Every single day, quietly, consistently, fully. The people who succeed don't always have more talent. They just made the decision and refuse to go back. That's the kind of person you're building now. The kind that doesn't negotiate with weakness. The kind that doesn't let one bad day ruin the entire week. The kind that doesn't ask for permission to change. They just change. And here's what's powerful. Nobody can stop you from making that decision. Nobody can stop you from choosing discipline. Nobody can stop you from changing how you live today. Nobody can stop you from rebuilding your life from the ground up. People might doubt you, they might not understand you, but none of that matters. What matters is what you do when you're alone. What matters is how honest you are with yourself. What matters is that you stay committed when it's no longer exciting. This is the moment where it begins. Not next Monday, not next month, not when things are easier, not when you're less tired. Right now, you have to get fed up. Not angry at the world, not frustrated at others, but fed up with your own patterns, your own excuses, your own comfort zone. Because until you reach that point, nothing changes. But when you do, everything can change. People say they want to grow, they say they want a new life, but they keep waking up the same way, thinking the same way, acting the same way, and expecting something different. It doesn't work that way. You have to disrupt the pattern. You have to break it with force, and that force starts with a firm decision. This version of you has served its time. You've learnt from it. You've survived it. But it's not the version that will take you where you want to go. The new version doesn't wait for motivation. It creates it. The new version doesn't complain about time. It uses it. The new version doesn't stay stuck in fear. It moves through it. But again, none of that happens until you decide you're done. Not, "I'll try," not, "I hope," not, "maybe." A full-bodied decision, a decision that says, "I'm changing because I refuse to stay the same." That kind of decision has energy, it has commitment, it has weight, and it forces you to move. You'll know you've made it when your actions don't match who you were last week. You'll feel it when your choices start to make people uncomfortable. When they ask, "Why are you being so different?" That's when you'll know you're on the right track. Because becoming unrecognizable means letting go of the version of you that everyone is used to, including yourself. So what you do now? You get serious. You stop brushing off the pain. You stop laughing off your bad habits. You stop calling your laziness self-care. You stop pretending you're okay with mediocrity. And you start working. Day one is simple. Just do the opposite of what your old self would do. That's it. If the old you hit snooze, you get up early. If the old you skipped workouts, you show up. If the old you said, "I'll do it later," you do it now. One day at a time. That's how it starts. And soon, people won't recognize how you speak, how you walk, how you carry yourself, but more importantly, you won't even recognize yourself. And that's the goal, to look back 3 weeks from now and say, "I don't even relate to that old version of me anymore." That's the kind of change that lasts. And it starts with one powerful decision. I'm done being the same every day. Chapter 2. Break one bad habit you always ignore daily. You know exactly what habit is holding you back. You don't need a list. You don't need someone to point it out. It's the one you keep pretending isn't that serious. It's the one that shows up quietly every day, steals your time, your focus, your energy, and then disappears before you even notice the damage. It's not just a habit, it's a daily decision to stay where you are, and until you face it, nothing in your life will change. Real transformation starts the moment you stop ignoring the one thing that's been slowing you down the most. Not 10 things, just one. Just one habit you know you've allowed to stick around for too long. Maybe it's procrastinating. Maybe it's eating garbage you know is ruining your energy. Maybe it's constantly checking your phone and wasting hours on things that don't help you grow. Or maybe it's the habit of talking yourself out of action with excuses. Whatever it is, it's not small. It's not harmless, and it's not something you can afford to carry with you anymore. We don't become stuck overnight. We become stuck by the small things we do daily that quietly drain us. The unhealthy comfort you repeat each day starts to shape your identity. You tell yourself it's not a big deal, but after weeks, months, and years, it becomes who you are. And that's the problem. You start believing that version of yourself is permanent. But it's not. It's just a result of repeated patterns. And one of those patterns needs to be broken now. The reason this habit still controls you is because you haven't made it urgent. You haven't told yourself, this ends today. You've treated it like something you'll fix eventually. But eventually doesn't change your life. Deciding today does. There's no freedom in waiting for the perfect time. There's only freedom in action. So the question is simple. What are you going to stop doing today that you've been letting slide for too long? Don't say everything. Don't try to fix your entire life in a day. That's not how this works. Big change starts with one bold choice, and that choice is to break one bad habit. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. If you pick the right habit and break it with discipline, you'll start seeing results faster than you expect. Not just results you can see, but results you can feel. Your mind becomes lighter, your energy improves, your confidence grows. Because deep down you finally prove to yourself that you're in control. That's what changes your life. Not reading more, not talking more, not planning more, but doing what you've been avoiding. You already know how this habit is affecting you. You've seen what it does to your time, your health, your progress. You've seen it stop you from going all in. You've seen it drain your motivation and feed your doubts. You've seen it become the reason you stay in the same place. So why do you keep allowing it? Because it's easy, because it's familiar, because it gives you quick comfort without demanding much from you. But you're not here for comfort. You're here to grow. You're here to become unrecognizable. And you can't do that while holding on to the very habit that's keeping you from leveling up. Every habit has a cycle. There's a trigger, an action, and a reward. And breaking the habit means interrupting that cycle. It means being honest when the trigger shows up and saying, "Not this time." It means replacing the old action with something better. It means not chasing quick pleasure, but chasing long-term pride. That's the difference between who you've been and who you're becoming. It's not supposed to feel easy. That's how you know it's real. You'll feel resistance. You'll hear the voice in your head telling you it's just one time, it won't hurt. But it does hurt. Every time you give in, you weaken your belief in yourself. You tell yourself you can't change, but every time you push through, even just once, you build a new version of yourself. And that version starts winning. You don't need to do it perfectly, you just need to be consistent. Missing once isn't failure. Quitting is failure. But choosing every day to fight back, to keep going, to stay committed, no matter how small the progress, that's success. That's how you build discipline. That's how you build confidence. That's how you start walking away from who you used to be. The key is to stop making excuses. You're not too busy to change. You're not too broken to improve. You're not too late to start. You've just been too comfortable allowing this habit to stay in your life. But now you see it clearly. You see what it's costing you. And once you see that, you can't go back to ignoring it. You have to be ruthless about what stays and what goes. If it's slowing you down, if it's making you weaker, if it's keeping you average, it has to go. There's no room for habits that steal your potential. There's no space for things that hold you back. Your time is too valuable. Your goals are too big. Your life is too important. This is not about being perfect. This is about being committed, about choosing to do hard things on purpose, about proving to yourself that you can change what's been holding you back for years. Because once you break this one habit, you won't just feel better. You'll feel unstoppable. You'll know that nothing controls you unless you allow it. You'll know that you can take back your life one decision at a time. So ask yourself right now, what's the habit I've been ignoring? And once you have the answer, don't try to justify it. Don't explain it. Don't defend it. Just remove it. Cut it off. Change your environment. Change your triggers. Change how you respond. Be proactive. Be intentional. Be aggressive about protecting your progress. That one habit might be small on the surface, but it has massive impact. It's not about the size, it's about the repetition. What you do every day becomes who you are. And if this habit doesn't align with the person you want to be, it has no place in your life anymore. You can't carry old habits into a new life. You can't keep feeding weakness and expect strength to grow. You can't stay attached to comfort and expect greatness to show up. If you want to become unrecognizable in 21 days, this is the step that makes it real. Make the change visible. Let it affect how you move, how you think, how you speak, how you use your time. Let this be the shift where people notice something is different about you, not because you told them, but because your actions say it loud and clear. Every day you avoid this decision, you delay your progress. Every day you keep this habit alive, you stay attached to your old life. But every day you take control, every day you break the pattern, every day you show discipline, you build something powerful, you build the future. Don't talk about what you're going to do, just do it. Quietly, privately, repeatedly. Be the person who says, I used to struggle with that, but not anymore. Be the person who outgrows old patterns. Be the person who doesn't tolerate weakness. Be the person who sets a higher standard and sticks to it. This is how real change starts. Not with inspiration, not with hype, but with one hard decision backed by daily action. Break the habit. Break it fully. Break it now. Your future depends on it. Chapter 3. Do what scares you even when it's uncomfortable. Most people live with fear, sitting quietly in the background of their lives, not the loud kind, not the kind that shouts and panics, the silent kind, the fear that whispers when an opportunity shows up, the fear that tells you you're not ready, the fear that convinces you to wait. It's not always obvious, but it's there. It shows up when you get the idea to try something bold, and it tells you to shrink back. It appears when you think about speaking up, taking the risk, stepping into something unfamiliar, and instead of moving, you freeze. That fear has shaped more lives than failure ever has. If you want to become unrecognizable, you have to stop running from what makes you uncomfortable. You have to stop choosing safety over growth. There is no change in comfort. There is no transformation in staying where you feel secure. If you only move when it feels easy, you'll never get past average. What changes you is doing the thing that feels hard. What grows you is facing the thing you'd usually avoid. Fear doesn't go away on its own. It grows stronger the more you avoid it. Every time you dodge the thing that scares you, that fear becomes part of your identity. It becomes your normal, and then you wonder why you feel stuck. It's not because you can't move forward. It's because you've trained yourself not to. You grow by doing the exact thing your comfort zone tells you to avoid. The call you don't want to make. The truth you don't want to say. The challenge you don't want to take on. The person you're afraid to become. That's your path. That's your test. That's the door you have to walk through if you ever want to live a different life. You don't need to get rid of fear. That's not the goal. The goal is to move anyway. To feel it, and go forward with it, still in your chest. To do the thing even when your hands shake, and your voice breaks. That's what builds the real version of you. The strong version. The version who stops hiding behind hesitation and takes action without needing permission. You might feel discomfort, but that discomfort is proof that you're doing something worth doing. Easy things never change you. Comfortable choices never open new doors. Growth never happens when you feel in control. It happens when you take the step and trust that you'll figure it out on the way. Think about what you've avoided because of fear. Think about the chances you didn't take, the opportunities you passed up, the things you wanted to say but didn't, the places you wanted to go but stayed away from. How much of your life has been shaped by fear you never challenged, and how different would your life look if you just leaned into one of those fears instead of turning away? Doing what scares you is not about being reckless, it's about being honest. Honest about what matters to you. Honest about the actions you've been putting off. Honest about the areas where you've settled. You don't need more information, you need courage. And courage is only built through action. Courage is not something you feel first, it's something you earn through doing. You don't wait for courage to show up, you create it through every uncomfortable move you make. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. You start becoming the person who doesn't hesitate. The person who doesn't stall. The person who sees fear and doesn't walk away but steps right through it. Most people are chasing freedom while still avoiding the actions that would give them that freedom. They want confidence without risk. They want success without pressure. They want strength without effort. It doesn't work like that. If you want to break through, you have to do what scares you, even when you don't feel ready. You might be scared of failure. You might be scared of judgment. You might be scared of not being good enough. That's normal, but none of those fears should be enough to stop you. Not when your future is on the line. Not when your purpose is bigger than your comfort. You can't build a powerful life while playing small. You're not going to become unrecognizable by staying in the same loop every day. You become unrecognizable when you do something today that would shock the old you. When you take a step that the previous version of you would have talked yourself out of. That's the moment you know you're growing. Start with one thing. One situation that brings fear to the surface. One action you've been putting off. One conversation you've been avoiding. Take it on. Don't talk about it. Don't plan around it. Do it. Even if your voice is shaking. Even if your heart's racing. Even if you don't feel confident yet. Show up. Take the step. Let the fear be there, but move anyway. There's no timeline for growth. You don't have to have everything figured out today. But every time you face what makes you uncomfortable, you're creating a different future.
You're making it harder for fear to control you. You're building a life based on purpose, not emotion, and over time, that becomes your new standard. Most people only grow when they're forced to. They wait for the crisis, the breakdown, the failure. But you don't have to wait for things to fall apart before you rise. You can choose discomfort on purpose. You can pick the hard path right now. And when you do that, you become the kind of person who doesn't need permission to grow. You stop waiting for someone to believe in you. You stop needing approval. You stop needing a guarantee that everything will work out, because you trust yourself. You know that doing the hard thing is already a win. The results come later. The confidence builds with repetition. The transformation happens in motion. You'll never regret the moments you were brave. You'll never look back and wish you'd stayed comfortable, but you will regret the times you let fear talk you out of your future. The opportunities you missed because you didn't act. The dreams you delayed because you wanted to feel safe. You don't need more time. You need to make the move. Pick something that scares you,